Sometimes you just want to punch things, and that's what we'll be doing today. Welcome to the Attic Dungeon. My name is Sam, and whether you want to give him a nice right hook or an uppercut, I'm here to help you with everything. Just a quick reminder that Day of Dungeons is approaching and we still have some tickets for sale. So do not hesitate, go to the site, get your tickets and come and enjoy yourself later on in March. Apart from that, thank you very much for tuning in again to the Attic Dungeon. Don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, click the bell. I'm sure YouTube will add some buttons in the near future, but for now I think that's it. And then let's start with today's fun stuff. So here's an idea. You know how monks get this feature that allow them to punch with dexterity instead of strength? Let's toss it outside of the window. I want my monk to be angry and strong as the mountain. How are we going to obtain that without losing all of our armor class? That's easy. What I also want to achieve is to want my strength punches to be even more explosive than they already are. What we're going to do today is combine barbarian, monk, and glue it onto a turtle. Yes, it could be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle if you want that to be. I just want the most explosive punch machine gun that D&D history has seen in 5e, because I don't know enough about 3.5. You could probably cook up something worse with all the rules and features you had there. So let's avoid that. A mean, lean, punching 5e machine. That is what I'm going to give you today. As I said, we start out with a turtle. Why the turtle? Fixed armor class of 17. We are going to combine two classes that have an unarmored feature, namely barbarians who calculate their AC based on Dex and Con, and monks who do it based on Dex and Wisdom. You cannot combine these features. You cannot add up Dex, Con, Wisdom, or even add Dex twice. Wow, that would be wonderful. Not an option. We toss all of that outside the window and we take the fixed 17 of the turtle. Yes, turtles can wear shields and get up to 19, but if you wear a shield, your monk will not be able to use their unarmed combat feature. And that feature does more than just replacing strength with dexterity for your attacks. It also grants you the capability of using a bonus action to add a second attack each turn. So you're kind of dual wielding with the fists, as we like to call that in the expert tongue. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's also part of that feat. And the fact that you get to use your martial arts die instead of whatever basic damage your punches would be dealing. That's also part of that feature. So we're playing a turtle because 17 armor class is good enough. Ability scores. I put my bonuses in strength and constitution. We don't need dex as much as you might think because our armor class is fixed. We're not using dex to punch. We don't want it to be negative, of course, because initiative and dex saves are still a thing. So I present you with the following. In total, with bonuses added, 16 strength, 12 dexterity, 16 constitution, 8 intelligence, 14 wisdom, 8 charisma. These stats will allow us to multiclass into barbarian and monk. Good stuff. These will allow us to survive on the battlefield and punch like One Punch Man, but we're going to be a bit dumb and not necessarily the most charming turtle around. Oh well, who cares? What do we start out as? Monk. Why? It's going to be mainly a monk build. We're going to splash levels of barbarian in this build, so then I like to build up the first class up to level 5 generally to take extra attack features. That's good stuff. That's what we want. That does mean that you're a bit squishier at the start than you will be later on. You can obviously mix and match these levels. You could even start as barbarian. It's a bit personal preference, I think. It's mainly skills and some proficiencies that you're not going to use. Now, this is of course the meanest, punchiest guy, but for the sake of mechanics, you are going to have to use weapons at some point because barbarian rage, we'll get to that, specifies that you need to be using strength weapon attacks. And if your dungeon master is cool with your fist counting as weapon attacks, then nobody cares. It's really just a visual thing here. But you'll be using something simple like a short sword because it levels with your martial art die. It's better in the beginning than... you get the idea. You can reflavor as you wish. Your punches are going to hurt. So monks, what do we get at level 1? Obviously unarmored defense. We're not using that, we're a turtle. But your martial art thing where, as I explained, you can use Dex but we won't. Your damage will scale, and you can punch extra. And this extra thing is going to be our best friend. So that's your level 1 monk. You'll start out with 17 armor class, which is more than any monk will ever start with. Good for you. Level 2 will give you key points, obviously, and unarmored movement, which is, again, while you're not wearing armor or wielding a shield, you get to move around faster. Look at that. We're not doing any of those. Our shell doesn't count as armor. You can be a really fast turtle. At level 3, we choose our monastic tradition. There's a few options here that will work just fine. Open hand should be okay. I personally took Way of the Drunken Master. I would stay away from builds that require your wisdom to be super high to be effective, because we are going to focus on strength for the first 2 ability score increases just to maximize that punchy damage. Deflect missiles, you know, I'm not going to go over every feature separately. You get a few bonus proficiencies from your subclass as well. Drunken Technique, there's a fun one if you use Flurry of Blows, so, you know, spending a key point to do 2 extra attacks instead of 1. You also gain the Disengage effect and more speed. You will be relatively armored, but this way you can still easily escape the clutches of your enemies. Monks are all about being mobile on the battlefield, and we still want that. Ability score improvement at level 4, just punch it all into strength. We want that strength at 18. We want to roar like an angry bear and maul at the stupid schmucks that get in front of your angry monk. You'll get slow fall, extra attack at 5, and obviously stunning attack, which is based on your wisdom, which is the main reason that wisdom is at 14, because we started as a monk. We don't need high wisdom to scale into barbarian. The other way around, you would need that, but still, you want your stunning strike to actually have the potency to stun someone, so it's a good start. Once we're past level 5, we completely swap to the barbarian levels. Oh, we love barbarians. What do they give us? More hit points, some extra proficiencies, and rage. That's what we're here for. What does rage do? A lot of things. What do we care about? The extra damage. On each strength melee weapon attack, you add 2 damage. You add 2 damage, which is cool for barbarians because they hit once at lower levels, and twice at level 5 rather, and oh, dear God, how strong. But we're a monk. We can hit 4 times by doing extra attack and flurry of blows along with our regular attack, so that's 4 times rage damage. And you might think, oh Sam, do we have to take a lot of levels in barbarian to keep the rage damage somewhat decent? No, because rage damage levels up really slowly. I think it takes you all the way up to level 8 before your rage damage goes up a notch. So +2 is fine. That is going to be 8 extra guaranteed damage each time you use Flurry of Blows. If you don't use Flurry of Blows, still 6 guaranteed damage. And free damage, ladies and gentlemen, is best damage. Obviously, even more fun, you get reckless attack. So at least you can even lure out advantage on your first attack. Now, even better, ladies and gentlemen, you get reckless attack. When you take your first attack in the turn, you can decide to attack recklessly. Then all of your attacks will gain advantage. All 4 of your attacks can gain advantage. The downside, all attacks towards you will have advantage as well, and your 17 armor class might not be high enough to survive that. And I don't know if I already said it, but yes, barbarians can use shields at least, but you don't want to because your martial arts features drop completely when you're wearing a shield. So no bonus attacks anymore at that point. Level 2 also means danger sense. Monks are already going to be terrific at dexterity saves, even with our low dexterity. Now you have advantage on everything that you can see coming towards you that requires a dex save. When you level on later on in the monk business, you'll pick up, if I'm not mistaken, another feature that will make it so that when you succeed a dex save, you'll take no damage whatsoever and failure is half. So together with this feat, that makes you the king of dexterity saves whatsoever. Fireball will never harm you because you have advantage, and if you fail, you still only take half damage. Now, the primal path. There's a lot to be said for a few cool things here. Now, there's an issue with a few barbarian subclasses needing their bonus action regularly to achieve something. And that makes sense because barbarians are built to be those huge two-handed axe guys, so they don't need a bonus attack for offhand weapon attacks. I've talked about this before when I did a dual wielding build with barbarians as well. It's the same issue here. Obviously, we want to use our bonus actions as much as possible for punching power. So I kept it simple. And I picked something that, honestly, the monk can really use. I took part of the totem warrior. And yes, we're going to be boring and pick up the bear. Elk is also really fun, because elk adds another 15 movement speed, at which point you're becoming ridiculously fast already without many of the monk features. But bear makes it so that you only take half damage. And that's good, because you still only have 17 armor class, and your hit points are decent because we have 16 constitution, but taking half damage is going to make your monk go the extra mile. And there you go. At this point, you're basically level 8, and you're a very angry punchy guy. You are One Punch Man, you are Goku when he goes Kaioken, you are Sanosuke from Kenshin, if you're old enough to ever have watched that, or young enough to watch the remakes. Hey, that's good. And that is what I wanted to do today. Make a really angry strength puncher. Make a barbarian monk. Somebody who can punch you so hard that your ancestors' teeth will fall out. And I succeeded. Thank you. You're welcome. See you all in 2 weeks again in the Attic Dungeon.